Hey everybody, it's August 17th, 2020. It's been a while, but I'm gonna do a little cleanup in the garden. Today I'm gonna take down some of the plants that are not doing so hot, plant a few things for the fall harvest, and and I'm gonna also take care of this compost pile. This was a leaf mulch that I started, I guess, last fall. Threw all the leaves in there, chopped them up. I think I have a video on it. Try to put a link to it if I can find it. Put the leaves in a garbage can, and then with a weed whacker, chopped them up. And I put them all in here with, I guess, a couple of avocado plants, a couple of avocado seeds. But anyway, it's down to hardly anything now. So that compost is pretty much finished. Sorry about the plane. I'm going to move that into this bin with a little bit left over finished compost. And then I'm going to turn this one that I've been adding food scraps and leaves and grass and all sorts of stuff into this one. I'm going to move this one over into that bin, and then this one will be for all the new stuff. So I'm going to do that now, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Alright, that's done. So I got a nice pile of finished compost right there. This bay is empty. And what I have, I did this a while ago. I put some, this one's like totally broken down into humus, I guess you call that. But what I did was I put a few logs that I found in the woods. This one's also broken down. I mean, check this out. That's just beautiful. So what I do is I lay these underneath compost and let the bacteria and whatever's in there, fungi, do some good stuff. There's another avocado that's growing here. Crazy. Anyway, so I'm going to turn this pile over once into this bay, and then we'll start putting the new food scraps and leaf mulch that I get this year and grass cuttings, all sorts of other stuff. Plants that I take down today, I'll put them in here, and this will start the next compost pile. All right. Now look at what's inside this compost heap. First of all, I see a lot of worms and I see a lot of ants and things, but look at this. This is almost finished. I mean, I did add a lot of new stuff, so what we're going to do is, turning it over into this bin, and we'll keep it in here, and we'll use that in the spring. All right? Check that out. This was just a bunch of leaves and probably food scraps, and look what it turned into. Some beautiful compost. It's still got some larger sticks and pieces, some wood chips I put in there, so we could sift all that out, or I could just lay that right into the garden. So this I'll put in like Charles Dowding does. I'll put it in the late fall, just before the winter. And then this year, what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to cover it up, cover up the beds with tarps, like Curtis Stone does, and I'll see how that helps keep everything in place. But this will be great compost for all the soil life for the winter, and we'll see if we can get a better harvest next year. All right, I'm gonna keep going. Okay, we're finished. So we got one bay of finished compost that's going to go on this winter or late fall. And another one of semi-finished. That'll be for next spring. And then we got a brand new bay here that's going to get started. I left some of the compost on the bottom, and I threw in some of the garlic that I pulled out, stalks and some sticks for the bottom. And when I cut the grass, when I rake up leaves and make some leaf mulch, I'll pile it in here, food scraps, and then this one will get cooking over the winter. Alright, so we got the thermometer in here. Probably not going to get hot, but it was around 110 degrees, which is pretty decent, but not hot. And so what I got to do is I got to buy new tarp. We had some trees come down, branches, and we had that tropical storm come through. So I'm going to get a big tarp, cover this up, and that's it. So next, I'm going to tackle that. I'm going to rip some stuff out, throw it in the wheelbarrows here, and I'll bring it over to this bay. So, time to get to work. I harvested the rest of the carrots. Kind of small, but you know, I can clean these up, cut them up. I think we'll have a nice little side dish tonight. There's a couple of nice sized ones there we can cut up. So not too bad. I don't know why they didn't get longer. I believe these were a longer type. Scarlet Nance, some of them were. So they should have got longer, but maybe the soil was just too hard. It seemed kind of soft when I pulled it out, so not sure what happened. Maybe I didn't water it properly, consistently. Anyway, let me show you what I did. Cleaned up most of the garden. Pulled out all the grass that was growing in between the weeds. In between the plants. Some of the plants were like weeds, so I took a lot of tomatoes that, were volunteer tomatoes, and a lot of the eggplants and peppers that just didn't do too good. Thinned those out. Some of the kale, I had a ton of kale, so I pulled some of that out and made some more room here so I can plant a few fall crops. But one thing that was a surprise to me was I had this one squash vine growing from here near the tomato trellis, which originally was a bean trellis, but it just kept growing, didn't have anything on it. This vine over here had this little tiny pumpkin on it, which is kind of weird because I didn't buy any pumpkins this year. I bought a big pumpkin. But so that vine kept going, and then I looked at it and I saw this, which I believe is a Tromboncino. It's a long Italian squash. This one gets even longer than the cucuzza. This one can be like, 4 to 5 to 6 feet long. Anyway, this was laying on the ground over here. And this vine, which I started to trellis up here, was crawling all the way behind the grapevine in that container over to the fence. So it started attaching to the deer fence. So I had to rip it out. Unfortunately, I ripped out a few roots. This kind of roots like a pumpkin. So every once in a while, like on this section here and this section here, it would root. So I left the roots in the ground there and then gently trained it up and put a couple of strings here, which I'll take down as soon as it starts to grab on with its own tendrils. And yeah, that's a pretty nice. There's my hand. So it's about, I'd say maybe 8 to 10 inches long now. And there are a couple of more that seem like they're growing here. Let's see if I can find one. There's a tiny one up here. You can see that guy. So yeah, we may get to Tromboncinos. I didn't even think I had any. I bought some seeds, and I didn't think any of them germinated, but apparently one of them did, and I planted it. Again, label everything you got. So yeah, that's pretty cool. It started all the way from over here. You can see how long it went. Very long until it finally set a fruit. So I'm going to hopefully get it to go across that trellis and hang down, because these things are really long and they kind of bulb out at the bottom, as you can kind of see it here a little bit. It's kind of thin all along, and then it bulbs out at the bottom, and they're supposed to be really delicious. One of my ex-coworkers, Sal, told me about these. So there's another one over there, but it looks a little yellow, so that one might die off. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. I didn't even know I had one. So anyway, that's it for today. See you guys soon. Get ready for the fall. Well, summer's not over yet, but in New York it was pretty cool the last few days. It was in the upper 60s. So hopefully we get some more summer and then get my fall crops in and hopefully get some harvest. See you guys later.